At Honoring Icons, Lisa welcomes you to a space devoted to remembering extraordinary lives with dignity and heart. Here, we celebrate legendary figures whose talent, character, and influence left an enduring mark on the world. Through stories from film, music, and culture, we keep their memory alive and honor the inspiration they continue to give future generations. A somber atmosphere surrounded the farewell of gospel singer Aduke Ajayi, known widely as Aduke Gold, as family, friends, and colleagues gathered to honor her life. She passed away, and her final journey home took place on August 23rd, where loved ones came together to reflect on her legacy and the impact of her music. A life of faith and inspiration. Aduke Gold was more than a singer. She was a source of comfort and inspiration to many. Her soulful gospel songs, shaped by deep faith and emotion, resonated with listeners who found strength and peace in her voice. Tributes from fans and collaborators described her as warm, humble, and devoted to her calling, remembering her strength and journey. According to her family, she had been battling cervical cancer prior to her passing. Her brother, Pastor Ajayi Adarunmu, shared the news, which also renewed conversations around the importance of early health screening and awareness, especially for women. A lasting spiritual legacy. Aduke Gold's passing is a deep loss to the gospel music community, but her songs and message continue to live on. Her life is remembered not only for her music, but for the faith, kindness, and encouragement she shared with others. Ahu Tuba was a well-known figure in Turkish cinema, remembered for her striking screen presence and emotionally expressive performances. Born on August 13, 1955, in Istanbul, she grew up in a culturally rich environment before entering the film industry. A graduate of Robert College, she brought both elegance and emotional depth to her work, becoming a familiar face during a vibrant period of Turkish filmmaking. Roles that balance strength and emotion. Throughout her career, Tuba often portrayed complex women, moving between vulnerability and resilience with ease. Her performances reflected characters shaped by real emotional conflict, which helped her connect with audiences across generations. Off-screen, she also drew public attention for parts of her personal life, including her brief marriage to Pascal Levasseur in the early 1990s, and her role as a devoted mother to her daughter, Ajil Begu Ahu Angelik Alejnatij. Later life and legacy. In her later years, she spent time in the United States before passing away in Miami at the age of 69. Her death was reported as resulting from natural causes following age-related health complications. While her passing saddened many fans, her body of work continues to be remembered. Lasting impact. Ahu Tuba's films remain part of Turkish cinematic history, preserving her expressive style and screen presence. Her legacy endures through performances that continue to resonate with audiences who remember her as both a star and a defining figure of her era. Alex Riel was born on the 13th of September, 1940, in Copenhagen, Denmark, and grew into one of the country's most respected jazz drummers. From an early age, he developed a deep sense of rhythm that would later define his musical identity. His style was known for being both precise and expressive, allowing him to move naturally between traditional jazz and more experimental sounds. Career highlights and collaborations. Riel gained international recognition in 1968 when his group, the Alex Riel/Palle Mikkelborg Quintet, won the Grand Prix at the Montreux Jazz Festival. This achievement brought him wider attention in the global jazz community. Around the same period, He also performed with the Savage Rose between 1967 and 1971, contributing to their more experimental, rock-influenced sound and showcasing his versatility across genres. Personal life and legacy. Beyond music, Riel lived a grounded and private life. He was married to Anne Riel from 2002 until his passing. He died in Denmark at the age of 83. The exact cause of death has not been publicly disclosed. Alex Riel is remembered for his quiet mastery, influential collaborations, and the lasting mark he left on both Danish and international music scenes. Brigitte Bardot, born on September 28, 1934 in Paris, became one of the most recognizable figures in international cinema. Rising from a young performer to global stardom, she represented a new kind of screen presence, natural, confident, and strikingly modern for her time. A new kind of screen presence. Her performances brought a sense of freedom and spontaneity that set her apart from traditional Hollywood-style glamour. Films such as And God Created Woman helped redefine on-screen femininity and introduced a more independent, expressive style of acting that resonated with audiences worldwide. A symbol of cultural change. Beyond her film career, Bardot became a symbol of shifting social attitudes during a time of cultural transformation. She embodied individuality and independence, influencing how women were portrayed in cinema and how audiences viewed personal freedom and identity. Life beyond fame. At the height of her success, she stepped away from acting to live a more private life, choosing distance from the spotlight. In later years, she focused on personal causes and maintained a low public profile, reflecting a deliberate shift away from celebrity life. Enduring legacy. Brigitte Bardot passed away at the age of 91. Her influence remains deeply embedded in film history and popular culture. She is remembered as a figure who reshaped cinematic expression and left behind a legacy defined by artistry, independence, and lasting cultural impact. Dwayne Wiggins played an important role in shaping the smooth, emotional sound of 1990s R&B, leaving a style that continues to influence music today. Born on February 14, 1961, he developed a deep connection to soul, funk, and storytelling through music, which became the foundation of his creative work. The sound of Tony. Tone, as a founding member of Tony. Tone. Wiggins helped build a signature sound that blended classic soul influences with a fresh, contemporary edge. The group became known for its rich harmonies and warm, melodic production, creating songs that felt both timeless and current. Tracks like Feels Good and Anniversary became widely loved, often associated with meaningful personal moments for listeners. Craft, creativity, and influence. Wiggins contributed not only as a guitarist, but also as a producer and creative force behind the group's sound. His approach emphasized warmth, musicality, and emotional honesty, helping define an era of R&B that valued authenticity over trends. His work helped shape how 90s R&B was heard and remembered. Mentorship and lasting legacy. Beyond his performances, Wiggins was dedicated to supporting and mentoring new talent. He believed in honoring the roots of R&B while encouraging new creative directions. His influence continues through the artists he inspired and the enduring popularity of the music he helped create, ensuring his contributions remain part of the genre's living history. If someone tried to pitch this life as a movie, it would probably be rejected for being too much at once. One person dominating professional sports, redefining action cinema, and later stepping into one of the most powerful political offices in California, sounds like fiction built on exaggeration. Yet, it happened through the life of Arnold Schwarzenegger. To the public, he became a symbol of ambition without limits, the embodiment of the American dream pushed to its extreme edge. But beneath that image was a life shaped by discipline, reinvention, and consequences that were often far more complicated than the spotlight suggested. His journey was not a straight climb upward, but a series of reinventions, each demanding a different version of himself. The story is less about perfection and more about persistence, the kind that keeps moving even when the world, and sometimes life itself, pushes back hard. A childhood built on scarcity and discipline. Arnold Schwarzenegger was born in 1947 in Thal, a small village near Graz, Austria, in a country still recovering from the devastation of World War II. Life was physically demanding and emotionally restrained. Homes lacked modern comforts, and daily survival required effort and routine. His father, Gustav, a local police officer, was a strict figure who believed strongly in discipline and structure. Expectations inside the household were high, and praise was rare. Competition between Arnold and his older brother was encouraged, often turning everyday tasks into contests. This environment created pressure, but also shaped resilience. While it was not an easy upbringing, it produced a young mind that began to associate effort with identity. Arnold often felt out of place in his surroundings, as though his ambitions didn't belong in the world he saw around him. That sense of separation became an early emotional fuel, pushing him to imagine a life far beyond the boundaries of his village. The spark of an unusual dream. As a teenager, Arnold discovered something that changed the direction of his life completely: bodybuilding. It wasn't just the sport itself, but what it represented. Through magazines and films, he saw figures like Reg Park, who combined physical strength with cinematic presence. For Arnold, this was not entertainment. It was a blueprint. He began to see bodybuilding as a structured path out of his environment. Training became intense and obsessive, not because of external pressure, but because of internal certainty. Even when others questioned his choices, he held on to a clear mental picture of where he wanted to go. He trained in unconventional ways, often pushing beyond standard limits available to him at the time. This early phase wasn't about fame or recognition. It was about transformation. The gym became a place where he could construct an identity stronger than his circumstances, one repetition at a time, slowly turning imagination into a plan. Discipline, escape, and early victories. By the time he entered military service in Austria, Arnold had already developed an unusual level of commitment to training. While others treated service as obligation, he treated it as an opportunity to continue building strength and focus. His determination sometimes led him to bend rules, prioritizing competitions and training over strict protocol. Early success in European bodybuilding competitions confirmed that his approach was working. Winning titles gave him validation, but more importantly, it reinforced a belief he had carried since childhood, that disciplined effort could reshape destiny. However, these victories also came with consequences, including temporary disciplinary setbacks during his service. Still, even those moments did not weaken his direction. Instead, they strengthened his conviction that conventional expectations were not designed for the path he intended to follow. He was building not just a physique, but a mindset centered on long-term vision, rather than immediate approval. America, reinvention, and the rise of a new identity. When Arnold arrived in the United States, he carried little more than ambition and confidence. America represented scale, bigger opportunities, bigger risks, and bigger competition. His early experiences were not immediately triumphant. In fact, he faced setbacks, including losses in competitions where his physique, though massive, lacked refinement by American standards. Instead of discouraging him, these moments forced adaptation. Moving to California, especially Venice Beach and Gold's Gym, placed him in the center of an evolving bodybuilding culture. There, he trained alongside elite athletes and refined his approach with greater precision. He also began building financial independence through small business ventures and investments, showing early instincts beyond sports. This period marked a transformation from athlete to strategist. Arnold was no longer just building a body. He was building a system of success that combined physical discipline, social awareness, and financial planning into one long-term vision: competition, psychology, and cultural breakthrough. Arnold's dominance in bodybuilding wasn't only physical, it was psychological. He understood how presence, confidence, and perception could influence outcomes. In competitions, he often studied his opponents closely, using subtle confidence and communication to create mental pressure. This approach became part of his reputation. His rise reached global attention through the documentary Pumping Iron, which revealed both the intensity and personality behind competitive bodybuilding. The film showed him as charismatic, strategic, and deeply focused, helping redefine how the public viewed the sport. By winning multiple Mr. Olympia titles, he reached a level of dominance few athletes ever achieve in any discipline. At this stage, bodybuilding was no longer just a sport, it was a platform. Arnold had turned physical excellence into a cultural identity, and in doing so, opened doors to entirely new industries waiting to be explored. Hollywood transformation in the birth of an icon. Hollywood initially viewed Arnold as unconventional. His accent, physique, and presence didn't match traditional leading men of the era. Early roles were limited and sometimes awkward, but he approached acting the same way he approached training: repetition, improvement, and patience. His breakthrough came with films like Conan the Barbarian, where his physical presence became an advantage rather than a limitation. Everything changed with The Terminator, directed by James Cameron. The role reframed his image entirely, turning minimal dialogue and mechanical delivery into iconic performance. "I'll be back" became more than a line, it became cultural shorthand. From that point forward, Arnold wasn't just an actor. He was a cinematic archetype. He followed this success with a series of major films that defined the action genre of the 1980s and 1990s, becoming one of the most recognizable faces in global entertainment. Power, politics, and a new arena of influence. After achieving dominance in sports and film, Arnold entered an entirely different field: politics. In 2003, he ran for governor of California during a recall election, entering the race with no traditional political background. Many viewed it as symbolic rather than serious, but his public recognition and communication style resonated strongly with voters. He won and assumed office, stepping into a role far more complex than any previous challenge. As governor, he focused on environmental policies, infrastructure, and bipartisan cooperation, attempting to blend celebrity influence with governance. While he experienced both successes and setbacks, his time in office showed a different dimension of his personality, one focused on systems rather than performance. Politics tested his limits in ways entertainment never had, requiring compromise instead of dominance. It was a shift from controlling outcomes to navigating them, personal challenges, and the weight of public life. Behind public success, Arnold's personal life faced challenges that became publicly visible over time. His marriage to Maria Shriver, a member of the Kennedy family, eventually ended after revelations of a long-hidden personal situation involving a child born outside the marriage. The situation deeply affected his family and public image, marking a significant emotional and reputational turning point. Rather than disappearing from public life, he acknowledged responsibility and focused on rebuilding relationships over time. This period reflected a more human side of his journey, one where ambition and personal choices collided with emotional consequences. While public attention often focused on the scandal, the longer arc involved attempts at reconciliation and reflection. It became one of the clearest examples that even the most controlled public image cannot fully separate itself from private reality. Health crisis, recovery, and reinvention again. Later in life, Arnold faced a serious heart-related medical emergency that required open-heart surgery. The procedure became a turning point, not because it ended his career, but because it forced physical vulnerability. Recovery was slow and demanding, requiring him to relearn basic strength and movement. For someone known for extreme physical discipline, this phase was especially challenging. Yet he approached rehabilitation with the same mindset that defined his earlier life: consistency over intensity. Over time, he regained strength and returned to public work, but with a noticeably different perspective. He became more open about aging, failure, and personal limits. This stage of his life marked a shift from expansion to reflection, where success was no longer measured by dominance, but by sustainability and impact. Legacy of reinvention and human limits. Today, Arnold Schwarzenegger's life is often discussed as a story of extreme achievement, but its deeper lesson is about constant reinvention. He moved through multiple identities: athlete, entertainer, politician, and public advocate, each requiring a different version of discipline. His journey shows that success is not a fixed destination, but a series of transitions shaped by both control and unpredictability. Along the way, he experienced failure, public scrutiny, and personal mistakes, all of which became part of his broader narrative, rather than footnotes. What remains most significant is not the scale of his achievements, but the persistence behind them. His life demonstrates that ambition can build extraordinary outcomes, but it also carries consequences that must eventually be faced. In the end, the story is less about invincibility and more about endurance, the ability to keep evolving, even when the image of perfection no longer applies.